Welcome back to Edgework, presented by FanDuel, as part of the Hammer Betting Network. I'm Alex Moretto, joined here today by So Money Sports. After a day off yesterday, we are back here. Clearly, my voice was not fully ready. Take one day off the show, and I'm struggling here. So Money, we've missed a handful of games that we should talk about here at one point before we get into tonight's games. Although we do have. The plan right now is to preview tonight's games and tomorrow's games, and then have no show tomorrow. Come back on Friday. So that's kind of the goal here that we're going to strive for. So we can kind of get to each series, honestly, as we're going through the card, I guess. Have you enjoyed these games the last few days or what? I know we'll talk about it later as we get into the Jets game 5. But yeah, Hellebuck still fighting it. Jets obviously can't find a way to break through. We did get the Oilers the other night, did not get the Caps, and then that's it. 3 games since we've last been on.
Yeah, besides the Oilers, I'm not enjoying anything here. It's all about the Oilers. They're the ones that are keeping me going right now. Everything else is not. It's not working out the way that I thought. It's still early in the Toronto series. So the last week I haven't been getting the results I wanted, but I still feel good about the Leafs. Everything else, I've become discouraged. Besides the Oilers, we're still all Oilers.
Yeah, I don't want to play spoilers, so we won't do that yet. But we'll get to the Jets games tomorrow. But it feels kind of like it's over for them. We'll see. I mean, going back home, they can always extend the series, and then you never know what happens from that point on. But yeah, tough one last night. Really tough one. Hellebuck just fighting it right now. Just really, really fighting it. Nothing like egregious, but like you want him to make at least two saves there. A good game for the Jets, one of their better games of the series, and yeah, they just don't get the goaltending. Ottinger plays Hellebuck. That's literally it. That's all it came down to last night. And also, like, the Jets, they work so hard to get their opportunities. Where it's Dallas, it just feels like they can just flip a switch and all of a sudden they're able to pour it on, and then they go into these lulls. But like when they do pour it on, they're finding the back of the net. And that's kind of what championship teams are made of.
I actually agree with Rob's message there. The World Championship has been fun. I think we should, for the next week until this round is over, yes, we should just focus all our attention onto Canada right now.
Yeah. Let's start previewing Latvia, Sweden, USA, Norway right now. Let's just get into these games instead.
Yeah. No, you know what? Like when there's an element of fighting through it, especially on the road. Back to the Canucks. We saw this in 2011 in the Stanley Cup final against Boston, where Luongo was outstanding at home, and then just whatever happened to him on the road, he just couldn't play in Boston. We're seeing that with Hellebuck a bit on the road here. He has been better in Dallas than he was in St. Louis, obviously, but I mean, the bar is pretty low there. Mm-hmm. And what I was discouraged about was after the game, his interview after the game, the body language, the intonation, it was so defeated, right? And like, when the fact of the matter is you're still going home for a game, you still have the opportunity to win one road game in this series, and you have the opportunity to like forget about everything, right? Like as a goalie, you can't linger on these things, and I think he was really lingering on him, and you can tell that it is weighing on him, and I mean, obviously it should, but it was right after the game, but it just seemed like he was having trouble getting himself away from that game, and I mean, if you're allowing that to carry forward in the playoffs, I mean, you're in trouble. And Ottinger was outstanding. He was outstanding in that game. Dallas was very opportunistic. I thought the Jets played. I thought the Jets game was fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that if they keep playing that game, they probably win, right? But Ottinger was outstanding, and the problem is that you have to get to that level for the Jets. You have to stay there consistently. And now in the final 8, when all these teams are good, it's really hard to to continue that sort of play while expecting the other team to not make any changes as well. So, the Jets are up against it. It's not over. They have a home game. They play better at home. Hellebuyck plays better at home. And then in Game 6 on the road, I don't know.
Pressure starts to shift a little bit to Dallas to close it out at home, right? And then we get Hellebuyck, and that pressure doesn't matter because they're able to seal it off, no problem. But
So
you wait just one at a time. That's all you can do. Just take it one game at a time at this point.
It's not over. But I was very, very discouraged by his interview after that game.
Yeah, and it's something he doesn't normally do as well as talk after a loss. So that's pretty telling there. I think honestly, credit to him, because I think he realizes that he's just not playing the way he should be playing, and he's kind of letting the team down. You can tell there's definitely some element of I need to be better. And he's taking accountability in a sense by being like, I'm going to face the media. I'm not going to sit here and cower behind it and hide from it. So credit to him for that at least. But I don't think that's any real consolation for Jets fans who want to see him just play better. I don't care about what you're saying or what you're, when you're talking, who you're talking to. I just simply want to see you play better.
Yeah, and Charles in the chat there, Demko and PD for Hellebuyck. Honestly, I take that in 2 seconds.
You would do that?
Absolutely. If the Jets take on the full PD salary, no problem.
Wow.
No problem.
That's a tough one, man.
I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Really?
Yeah, because we get rid of the salary. We changed that whole culture in the dressing room, right? PD is dividing that dressing room. We're not going to get into the Canucks right now, but he is a really it's
I guess from that standpoint I can see it.
It's tough in that room, and it's not like the Canucks are close to a championship right now, so I don't worry about Hellebuyck's performance in the playoffs right now when he's with the Canucks. I'll worry about that problem when we get there, but right now it's about changing that room.
I'd say he would help them get there pretty quickly, though. I think they're a playoff team next year with Hellebuyck. But it's tough. I don't know what you do. And this is part of a bigger conversation and maybe one for post-Jets season whenever that does come. But I don't know what you do with that if you're the Jets. 3 more years left at, I think, 8.5. His trade value is going to be pretty low. I don't know what you're going to necessarily – I don't even know if you'd be willing to trade for him. Do you just keep trotting him out there and hoping for – different results in the playoffs when you've seen time and time again that that's not really happening? How do you ride him out at this point? Ride out that contract. He's got to have lost the faith of the guys in the room. It's a really, really difficult situation. I don't even know what you do there.
Yeah, I think you have to ride him out. His yearly figure is fine, right?
8.5 is not.
Yeah,
especially with the cap going up.
Yeah, he's a Vezina Trophy winner. He's going to be a Hart finalist. You have to ride it out and just hope that one day it all clicks in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything you can do as long as the Jets are a perennial playoff team. You have to keep them. If they, whatever reason, they're not in the playoffs or they're blowing it up or anything like that, then you trade him. But at this point, you're never going to get market value for him. So he's on a team friendly deal, so you have to write him out.
Yeah. Okay. Enough offseason talk. I want to get to the games. We got 4 games to get to. I'm very, very excited for these games because nothing hits like playoff hockey. The road to the cup starts on FanDuel, your home for live bets all playoffs long. With new features like live SGPs, build a parlay any game, any period, or stack multiple matchups onto one slip with same game parlay plus. And what's better than playoff hockey? Overtime playoff hockey. Get more from the game with live overtime markets. Right now, new customers can kick off the season with $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download FanDuel today and get more with North America's #1 sportsbook. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC, or 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-866-531-2600. Visit connexontario.ca. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right, we have the Panthers and the Leafs, Game 5. That is where we will begin tonight. A 2-2 series. Panthers minus 142, Leafs plus 118 on FanDuel. A total of 5.5. Minus 120 to the over, minus 102 to the under. Looks like no lineup changes for the Leafs tonight. Would expect the same.
I wouldn't. I think he's gonna shake things up today.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because yesterday at practice there were no changes, so I don't know if anything's changed as of this morning. But yesterday all the lines were the same. The extras were still the extras. That could have been some, coach just hiding, playing his cards close to his chest type of thing. But I don't know. It seemed like, as of yesterday, there were going to be no changes. So maybe that does change. Regardless, anything that does get changed would be obviously marginal, maybe like a Robertson coming in or something like that. I'm not sure how much that necessarily changes things. Would still expect Wall in net here, obviously, even though Stolarz was back skating. I don't think, even if he's available, I don't think you just throw him back in there. I do think you definitely stick with Wall in this situation. So maybe one or two changes if that, but generally the same Leafs team going at it tonight with the same Panthers team. Panthers have taken a little bit of money at some of the sharper books this morning. Nothing crazy though. Not a ton of movement so far on this game. A little bit from open. We're seeing Leafs up to like plus 125 in the plus 125 range at some of the market making books, but hasn't necessarily followed suit anywhere else yet. I'm guessing I know where you are on this one.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I mean, I'm not going to change my mind at this point, because of the pricing, right? Like, if the Leafs were like plus 105 right now, or like plus 110, or like similar to where they were in games 1 and 2 at home, then yeah, I probably wouldn't bet on this game. But we're not there, right? We're already seeing the adjustment on the Leafs. We're seeing them into the plus 120s, right? So that's my price, right? Like they close at a certain point in games 1 and 2. They struggled in Florida. Florida took back control of this series essentially. So you make the adjustment on the Leafs, which was made, right? So now we're into the plus 120s. So that's my play on the Leafs, right? Because even with the Florida taking control, the Leafs are priced higher than they were in games 1 and 2, which is what they should be. So I did bet the Leafs. I'm not as confident in this series, obviously, because I think that Florida has really worked their way into this series, and Florida still haven't played their best game. I thought that game 4 was the closest that Florida came to being at their best, but it still wasn't at their best. So I think that Florida has another level. Obviously, I think the Leafs can play better. They need to convert on their chances, and maybe they won't, right? But at a price of plus 125, I would love to find out based on that number. So I did bet the Leafs, and price related, give me the plus money on it, and or the significant plus money with the Panthers premium, and I'm there on the Leafs tonight.
Okay, so no objection from me. I'm not betting the Panthers at this price. I will say, I think coaching wise, I know a lot's been made about Berube and what he's done for this team and his calming presence and the impact he's had on the group. And I would agree with that. I think when it comes to X's and O's and in-game adjustments and in-series adjustments, that is where he falls drastically short. Whereas we've seen from Maurice, the adjustments that him and this Panthers team have made. And I think that's largely, it's not necessarily just the Panthers growing into this series. It's the fact that they've just been able to make the necessary adjustments based on what's happened in the first few games, whereas the Leafs have not at all. They're playing the same way that they always play. I think that X's and O's wise, I don't think Berube necessarily has an answer for when the Panthers do adjust. We saw the Leafs, we talked about this after games 1 and 2. They were generating all their offense in transition and on the rush. They would maybe get him back, and that forecheck would work a little bit for Florida. But then once the Leafs would get the puck, they would get up and go in a hurry, and they would create a lot of odd man rushes, get a lot of great opportunities in transition. Florida has adjusted significantly. They're just not letting that happen anymore. They're not getting beat in transition. They've made the necessary adjustments to keep things in front of them. They're forcing the Leafs. They're giving them space. There are, bigger gaps there. They're saying, hey, if you want to generate on us, you are going to have to do what we do. You're going to have to get pucks in deep, and you're going to have to come in to our zone and win them down low. And the Leafs they're just completely unwilling to do that. It's not necessarily that they're not capable. It's just there's no desire to dump and flip pucks in and try and go after them. That's not how they want to play. They want to play with the puck. They want to create opportunities by, passing it around, and that's fine, but that just hasn't been there. And until they can find a way to adjust, I am concerned about how they're going to generate offense in this game because, it comes down to the fact that they're not able to get anything going on 5-on-5 if they're not getting it going in transition. And we haven't seen the transition game be effective of late. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I would expect them to try and obviously change things up a little bit at home here. So, that's working in their favor. As Connor says, this total is crazy compared to game 4's. It's not that far off where it closed, though, I would say, right?
At the 5.5. Yeah. I think Connor's looking at a 6, though, right?
Well, I don't know. I know the total in game 4 closed like a juiced over 5.5. And that's kind of where we are now. Like, it's not like, I don't know necessarily, I can't remember where it opened. All these games are kind of blended together at this point here. But, I don't know if it's as huge of an adjustment. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on the total here? I would lean towards the under the way I think things are trending in this series and the way, just based on the adjustments that have been made. Power play opportunities, I keep saying they'll go down as the series progresses, but like they haven't gone down at any point. They've been going up, if anything. At one point, teams are going to, you'd think, start getting disciplined. Whistles will start going away. But I don't know. The way the series has been played, the way the game ended in game 4, maybe the refs are being told, like, hey, get control of this early, and we will see them a little bit more strict with the whistle here.
Yeah, I would. Connor just posted his numbers there. Yeah, so like at Connor's numbers there, that's wild. So those at those numbers, so we can still get a 6 under -120, a 6 under 6 -120. We can still get that. But I think that what gives me pause is what you just mentioned about the power plays. I think that I kind of need to see the power plays start trending lower here before I get involved. I know that the Leafs have struggled on the power play, but I don't bet on that continuing. And I think that if they're of these last potentially 3 games of the series, if there's one game that could surprise us with the amount of goals, it's going to be tonight. I think the Leafs back home would be more inclined to score goals in terms of their matchups. Once you get to game 6 in Florida's going to choke it out again, like they've been able to do at home. So there's no reason for me to expect anything different. And then I think in game 7, we can probably expect that both teams will try to clamp it down. So I like, if there's a game that's going to go over of these 3, it would be this one. So that gives me a slight pause. Charles confirmed there, just Chris Johnson just said, looks like there's lineup changes. Yeah, so like they had the black aces on and then they pulled them off immediately, right? And that indicates to me that that there's going to be changes because you want your black aces getting the skates in. So I would expect changes. I wonder what they're going to do. What can they do? But hopefully Domi's out, but we'll see.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's Domi who comes out unless they go Domi for camp. But I don't know, maybe like Lorentz or McMahon has. I don't know. I don't know if taking McMahon out is the answer, but he's been brutal in these playoffs. But maybe taking like Lorentz out, who's barely playing at this point. They obviously don't feel like they can really trust him. Getting in like a Robertson. I'm not sure what they do, but whatever it is, it's obviously a marginal change. I mean, we saw Maurice after game 2; they replaced their entire 4th line, right? And again, I don't know necessarily if that had an impact on the series, but you do want to pick things up a little bit if you can.
Here's the actual quote. Craig Bruber says Leafs have game time decisions to make. Won't reveal any specific lineup changes ahead of game 5. Says they are coaches' decisions. So no So no injury related changes are coming, but all coaches' decisions.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll monitor that. Obviously, nothing that I would say nothing that changes your handicap of the game unless they go real crazy and like take out like a patch already or something like that, which obviously I would be stunned if anything like that happens. So anything that does happen here would be pretty marginal. So we'll lock in the lease for you in this one. We will move on to the Oilers and the Golden Knights. Oilers plus 108, Knights minus 130, total of 6.5, minus 122 to the over, plus 100 to the under. Don't let Stuart Skinner get hot. Is that what we're talking about here? Is Stuart Skinner going to close this thing out with back-to-back shutouts or what?
You know, when Stuart Skinner wins the Stanley Cup, right? It's going to go on my tombstone, right? The ultimate Stuart Skinner truther. You know, as the series goes on, he just gets better, right? They're just some players that are just gamers, right? Stuart Skinner is a gamer, right? It's the way he's been throughout his whole career. You put him in like a game 1 or a game 2, the guy sucks, right? And that's where he needs his resets, right? Once you put him as the stakes get higher, he plays a lot better, right? So Stuart Skinner is not the problem on the Oilers right now. In fact, I would venture to guess that they don't have any problems right now, right? Yeah. This is a team that that game 4, huh?
I just knocked on wood there, but yes, I would agree with you.
That game 4 win was so impressive to me because of the adjustments that Vegas and Cassidy made, right? So in the first couple of games, Oilers were flying around, right? Generating off the rush, getting to the neutral zone. They had so much space. Vegas was giving them space, and then Cassidy made the adjustment that okay, this is clearly not working. We're going to we're going to try to tie this up in the neutral zone, right? We're going to try to make you guys dump it in, right? And that worked in game 3 because that was Vegas's best game in game 3, and yet we were still 0.4 seconds away from OT, right? That was a ceiling game for Vegas on the road, and Edmonton was right there. So then we saw in game 4 the big adjustment made. If you guys aren't going to give us space, then we're gonna put our lines in a blender, we're gonna dump it in, and then we're gonna come at you guys, right? That's what the Oilers did. And what was so impressive is that game was probably the grittiest game that I've seen the Oilers play from this core. Draisaitl and McDavid not on the score sheet. Where did the goals come from? Adam fucking Henrique
and Evander Kane, man.
Evander Kane. Right? That is where the goals came from. They were all greasy goals. This team said, we're not going to be able to skate, so we're going to get greasy. And that's what they did, right? So it was just outstanding, the adjustment made. And at this point, where are the answers from Vegas, right? You did change it up, and you did get the win, and you played well, right? But then Edmonton responded. So now you can't skate with them, and it's being shown that you can't outgrit them, right? So because the Oilers have a ton of sandpaper in that lineup right now, right? They're I mean that's
everyone's bought into that mentality. Everyone is exactly. I saw Podkolzin, who barely puts in hard strides, and hitting guys every chance he got. Like it's been a full team buy-in.
I'm like watching this kid play. I'm like, where the hell was this on the Canucks, man? Like you were a fucking floater on the Canucks, and like you're like in there in front of the net. Podkolzin is in front of the net, right? So I mean, yeah, I just I really like what they're doing here. We saw Adin Hill and the kind of what we've been expecting from him. They were in his head, right? That's. You just cannot do that as a goalie, right? So there was a concerted effort of getting pressure in front of him, which they did. Some of it was towing the line of what you can do, but I mean, whatever, right? It's
Evander Kane accidentally running him over after that second goal was like,
and I mean, like, so like you do what you got to do, and like Vegas can like respond the same way on Skinner if they want, right? So. I mean, you look at the pricing of this game. Yeah, I'm on the Oilers again. Right?
Imagine
I
laying
just
minus 130. I don't know, famous last words, but like imagine laying minus 130 with Vegas. What have we seen to suggest that that's a good bet?
yeah.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing is that like Vegas does play better at home, right? So like, but again, what I say all the time, again, it's the pricing, right?
Mhm.
I know Vegas plays better at home, but we're into the minus 130s now. So like, are they minus 130 better playing at home versus the Oilers in this matchup? I would argue no, right? So if you gave me a Vegas minus 105, minus 110, yeah, I'd probably bet on Vegas, right? Being at home, but that's not the price we're given, right? We're given good plus money on the Oilers in a good matchup, so that's the way that I'm going to go.
Yeah, I am completely in agreement with you here. I like what Connor said here. The Evander Kane line has been unreal
Yeah,
because Kane has obviously switched his lines up a couple times. He was playing with Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, and that line was fantastic. And then, obviously, like you said, they put their lines in a blender, and then he goes with Henrique and Brown, and that line is fantastic. He has been his return. I did not like. He's obviously a very, very good player, and you know how what he's capable of. But like having not played at all season, I did not expect this much of an impact from him. What the Oilers are getting from him, I should say, not what we're getting from him. Although we are all Oilers on this show right now, what they are getting from him has been unbelievable. That has exceeded even I think what the best of what they could have expected. He's been an absolute menace out there. He is in their heads big time. We saw Hyman in the head of Aiden Hill too. Hill was taking a couple whacks at him. That first period, I cheated out too. That first period was insane. Guys just getting crushed. Everyone who touched the puck was getting hit. It was like guys were out for blood, and it was fun to watch. And then the Oilers got their lead, and like after what happened in Game 3, they showed professionally we are going to close this one out, and that was a really, really nice job by them, just kind of sucking the life out of that game and seeing it to the finish line. So yeah, it gives me a ton of confidence in this team going forwards. We are nowhere close to there. I mean, not nowhere close. We are not there yet, but an Oilers Stars series, that is something that is worthy of a cup final, honestly. I don't know if we're going to get it. Obviously, Vegas and Winnipeg, two good teams that could still, have something to say about that. But like we are very much trending towards that, and I am very excited to be able to watch a series like that. I think that will be a blast.
and Vegas played with that. So sorry, the Oilers played with the lead, right? They played with the lead that whole game, right? And it was just, it was poetic, man. It was just,
It warms
just
your heart.
and the thing is, you mentioned that first period. In the past, this team gets bullied out of that game, right? In the past, the way that game was going, if McDavid and Draisaitl don't do anything outstanding, they lose that game and they get bullied on their way doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they were able to stand up physically, in fact, not just stand up physically, dictate the play physically, because the Oilers took it to them, right? Let's not get it mixed up there. The Oilers took that game physically to Vegas, and you didn't need McDavid or Draisaitl to go off, which says a lot about this game and about this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so we'll lock that in. Connor says, do you think we'll see plus 115 on the Oilers, or is plus 110 the best we'll get? I mean, there's plus 117 available right now, I guess, in Ontario, not in the U.S., but I think that could be an indication that we do, or you do, get to see plus 115 at one point. So I don't think there's a harm in necessarily waiting. We've seen Vegas take money pretty much every game in the series, so I don't think you're necessarily going to need to be in a rush here to get on the Oilers, because even leading up to game time, we've seen Vegas get bet. We saw it in Game 4, we saw it in Game 3, we saw it in Game 2. So I don't think you're in a rush here. I think you'll probably be able to wait and see a plus 115.
Totally. I was gonna say like you can take your time with the Oilers. Just you don't have to bet it right now.
Yeah, market really loves Vegas still. I don't know if anything we've seen has changed that, but it doesn't seem like that is the case, at least for now. All right, next game here we have the Hurricanes and the Capitals. Hurricanes looking to close this one out tomorrow night. This is the first game tomorrow night. Canes minus 172 in Washington. Caps plus 142, a total of 5.5. Once again, juice towards the under. So Money, what is your appetite to keep backing this Washington team? Do you believe in the character and the coach and Thompson and what they have there to keep their season alive on home ice tomorrow night?
What is the most boring series that you've ever watched in the Stanley Cup Finals and in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and why is it this one?
It's got to be. It's got, honestly, all due respect to my boy Lieboff, but it's got to be one of those older Islanders series that were just brutal. But I hear you. Yeah, this is right up there for sure.
I remember those Islanders series in the 90s, and this one is right there. Or even the Islanders 2.0 when they were making the conference finals. Is that
those
what you're
no, those series had some moments. I was talking about a little bit before that when they were making the playoffs and doing nothing. But yeah. But no, this is right there.
Yeah. This is bad, right? This is like if you want to sell the product, don't put this series on TV. No, I believe in Carberry. I was wrong in the way that I thought that Washington could give Carolina trouble. I was wrong. It's not when Carolina wants to clamp down, when they want to choke it out. Washington does not have a response. They just can't generate enough. Carolina is they're starting to wear them down. I thought that as this series went on, I thought that it would possibly go the other way, where Washington's big forwards would weigh in on Carolina. But the problem with that is that you got to be able to get there, right? Mm-hmm. And Washington's not able to get there. Mm-hmm. So Carolina has played the way that they need to play. It's not aesthetically pleasing for us, but that doesn't matter what we think, right? It's about the way that they need to play to win this series, and they're doing exactly to a T what they need to do. And you give credit to them. Carolina's a better team. I don't know if they're going to close it out. I'm not betting that number, obviously. We're into the minus 160s, 170s on the road, so I'm not betting that number. But I think that it's right there for Carolina, and I was wrong about this series. So when that happens, I usually don't keep betting it. So I won't be betting this game at all.
Yeah, they needed Logan Thompson to, no matter what happened, they needed Logan Thompson to outplay Freddie Anderson, and that just hasn't been the case. It hasn't been close to the case, and that's obviously, you're not going to win the series like that. I honestly, Logan Thompson makes me sick. Anyone who can go down and get carried off the ice and not put any weight on his leg and then play the next game, no, that doesn't sit well with me. And now he's coming out here and just losing me money because I keep betting on Washington at these big prices, and I'm done. I'm done betting on Washington. I do think Carolina closes this one out tomorrow, which means the Caps are probably going to force Game 6, and I'm going to sit here even more pissed off. But I'm pretty much done with this Caps team. I do believe in Carberry. I think he's a great coach, but it just doesn't feel like it's happening for them. They don't have the offense. They don't have the goals in the team. And Freddie Anderson's been very, very good. We'll see whether that continues. He has some demons to exercise as well. But I think he'll get his chance in the next round. So, where this game is currently priced at, no real interest. We'll see if the Carolina money enters the market as always. And if we do end up getting Washington plus 160-ish, I'll probably end up jumping in again. But I don't want to. I hope we don't. I don't want to. I just want to be able to sit this one out, pretend this game borderline doesn't even exist. So that's kind of where my head's at with it right now. One more game to get to. We have Dallas and Winnipeg. Stars minus 105, Jets minus 114 on FanDuel as they look to extend their season. Total of 5.5, minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. We're kind of getting a price in the range of where we had game 1. Game 2, obviously, Jets closed much higher, minus 135-ish range, but that had a lot to do with them being down 1-0 in the series and being at home. Similar series effects here, being down 3-1, coming back home with a chance to extend it. I think this is a little bit cheap still. I do like what I've seen from the Jets. Hellebuck continues to scare me, but Hellebuck at home has been better. Hopefully you can get the same Hellebuck performance as he's produced, as he produced in game 2. I think this is a little bit too short on the Jets still.
I agree. I think that The Jets play better at home, and I know we have Stars fans in this chat that either are live or they watch us or listen to us afterwards. So I ask you this, Stars fans, when has it ever been easy for you? Right?
Mhm.
Why do we just assume that the Stars are going to wrap this up in Game 5? It's not in their DNA. They're going to make you suffer a little bit before they probably pull this series out. So they're not going to make it easy on you. I do like the Jets. I think the Jets are going to play a much better game. Um, I think Hellebuck plays better at home, and I think the Jets will win. Game 6, I don't know. Right, we'll see what the pricing for Game 6 is and what kind of adjustments that are put on that number. But yeah, I think the Jets are too low, even with the with the addition of Heiskanen, who didn't obviously play in the first two games. So that goes into the line as well here, and where we see the adjustment. But even with him and even with Miro in the lineup, I think that we're still getting too low on the Jets here, and I think that currently where it's priced would be a buy point on the Jets.
Mhm.
And yeah, the Stars aren't going to make it easy. Like we know that, right? That I'd be surprised if the Stars finish this in Game 5, and that would really show me that this team has turned a corner into a legitimate Stanley Cup contender that can close out games and close out series. But they need to show me that, and at a discounted number on the Jets, I will pay to find that out.
Yeah, agreed. Same here. I do like what I've seen from Winnipeg in this series too, for the most part. It's just basically been Hellebuck, but they've been there. Like I know I talked about how Dallas has that second gear that they can kind of get to the Winnipeg can't, but like we don't see it consistently enough still. And on home ice, I think the Jets have still handled their business really well. Also, we need this to go a little bit further. Ideally, we can get 6 or 7 games here to give Ekholm a little bit more time to get healthy and come back for the Oilers. That is selfishly something I would like to see as well here. Winnipeg bet aside in Game 5. Let's get Ekholm a bit more time to get healthy. Stars probably get bet more from draw. I don't necessarily think so. I think this number is I don't think you're going to get much better on Winnipeg. Like, I don't think you're going to ever see like a -105 or plus money or anything like that. I think we saw Winnipeg take money in both their 2 home games. And I don't think anything has happened in those Dallas games to kind of pull the market away from that. So realistically, I could very well eat my words here, but I do think Winnipeg at home will probably take a bit of money.
Yeah, I think that. I would agree with that. I think Winnipeg's going to take money here.
Yeah. Okay. So this is probably a good time to get in if you want to. All right. So that's it for the 4 games. We will build an anytime goal parlay that we will get maybe one from all the games, or we'll pick 3 at least. But we have 4 games to choose from. So send your suggestions in the chat as well for anyone for tonight's games or tomorrow's games that you want to lock in. Our best bets for today and tomorrow, we have the Leafs plus 118, we have Edmonton plus 117, and we have Winnipeg, which we will get tracked there as well shortly, but anything -115, there's -115 is the worst price in market right now, which is fine. I'd bet a little bit higher than that even. So we'll get that tracked. So it'll be the Leafs, the Oilers, and Winnipeg, the Canadian trifecta for us. I guess I just realized we're loving the Canadian teams on this show.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
It is what it is.
That was not intentional.
Yeah, that was not intentional. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're Canadian teams.
Bunch of homers on this show.
Yeah, honestly, can't take anything we say seriously, really, at this point. We've just lost all our credibility. Okay, anytime goals. So, Money, do you have anyone that kind of stands out to you from either of tonight's games?
Connor McDavid is going to score tonight.
Connor McDavid is going to score tonight, plus 160. I like it.
I think they're going to have that killer instinct, and I think that it's going to be led by Connor here.
Okay. Connor McDavid, we will get that included. There's been a lot of talk about Matthews not scoring, plus 160 on Matthews tonight. That number is bigger than we've seen of late. He hasn't exactly shown a lot of reason to believe in him, but small sample size. I don't know. What do you think? Plus 160, or you want to pivot there and get someone else in?
Let's let's hold off. Let's see what else the chat has. I do like Austin Matthews. And I mean I like him every game, but he doesn't score. Um, so there's that. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Rob has that's a good point there. Like theoretically, Matthews should be freed up, right? But I mean,
they want the Lundell line out there against the Matthews line. I think it seems like Maurice is more dedicated to trying to stop the Nylander line than he is. I don't think there's a ton of I don't want to say a ton of respect, but I don't know. The emphasis does not seem to be on putting Barkov up against Matthews. It seems to be putting Lundell up against Matthews, which is what has kind of consistently happened in this series.
and a big game Willie too would be an option.
Yeah, we can do Nylander as well.
Let Let's see what shows up for the Florida guys here. Verhage will always show an edge.
Charles says Luosterainen.
Yeah.
700. 7-1. Grit says Nyes. 260 on FanDuel. That's best in market.
There hasn't been anything on Evan Rodriguez, right? Like he's not ruled out or anything, right?
I don't think so. I think he was.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to say embellishing, but it seemed grabbing his face after getting hit in the chest was maybe a tad of embellishment. I think he's okay. What do you think about Nyes plus 260?
yeah. I like Nyes is there. Yeah.
Okay, that's the best price in market. I think that's I don't want to say off market number at FanDuel, but like FanDuel's got a bigger number there than we were seeing anywhere else. So I think that's a decent one to throw in there. So let's go Nyes and McDavid for tonight's game. So let's get a couple for tomorrow. We need one from the Jets, and I think I'd say someone from Carolina. Svechnikov's been. I love what Svechnikov's been doing. I know we have a lot of chat support for Stankoven typically as well. Svech plus 210, Stankoven plus 370. Either of those stand out?
Svechnikov stands out a bit. Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong with either. Like, yeah.
Yeah, just looking at other prices, nothing fully. I mean, Goss to spare 7-1. That guy's been scoring a bunch, shooting a bunch this series, but I think we're getting a little bit up there at that point. I feel good about Svech.
Okay, let's do
Plus
that.
210. Let's get Svech in there.
Yep.
All right, so we'll throw Svechnikov in there. And talk to me about a Jets player.
Big game, Lowry. Perfetti at some point is going to score again. I think it's coming.
Perfetti going to score again?
And
what
the
about
other
Velarde? Is Velarde ever going to score here? I'm getting...
Yeah, Velarde is the other one that stands out, but I'm putting Velarde in the same category as Austin Matthews right now.
We like
I keep showing them. Yeah, I keep showing them to score, and they never do. So, Velarde, I'm getting a little bit discouraged on, but Ehlers is right there. That's a good call by Jordan. There's a bunch of guys on the Jets, and that's what's frustrating too, right? Like
I know.
They have the top end talent. They have the shooters that can do it. It's just Ottinger's been outstanding.
Yeah, he has. Ehlers could be his last game as a Jet tomorrow if they lose, which I don't think they will, but could be his last game. It seems like he's destined to hit free agency and find a new home this summer. Plus 280. I'm down for him plus 280 or Perfetti plus 390.
Well, let's go, I think, with Ehlers until Perfetti
gives us a
does
reason
something.
Yeah. Okay. Nikolai Ehlers will be the fourth to round this one out. So that's Matthew Nyes, Connor McDavid from tonight's games, and Svechnikov and Ehlers from tomorrow's games. Those are the four. Definitely round robin those, all that stuff. That is 109-1 plus 109.26 on FanDuel. 109-1. Matthew Nyes, Connor McDavid, Andrei Svechnikov, and Nikolai Ehlers. All right. And our best bets, one more time, the 3 Canadian teams. That's it. That's all you have to know. If there's a Canadian team playing in these next 2 days, one of us at least has a bet on that team, apparently.
Terrible.
Leafs plus 118, Edmonton plus 117, Jets minus 111. All right, that'll do it for us. We will be back on Friday, myself and So Money, to break down these 4 games, look ahead to the Friday and Saturday games. Who knows how many there will be. There's a potential for at least 3 series to be done at that point. One will still be going on for sure. We are guaranteed to have a Game 6 between the Leafs and Panthers on Friday night. But the other 3 series could be done by then. So we'll see. We could have a lot of stuff to break down. We could have a series price for a conference final already. But yeah, we'll get to all that stuff on Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, enjoy the games these next 2 nights and good luck on your bets.